right now on 5 on your side at 10.
It is still August after all, even though it hasn't felt like it. But today was hot. Tomorrow, all the way through Wednesday, hotter. Our weather impact alert days have been issued. What that means and how hot it will feel for you to start the week.
Tonight, a new push battling stigmas in women's health.
Symptoms can progress and worsen pretty quickly.
The vital information being offered for free. And just hours ago, a family gathers to remember a mother killed while walking home from work.
She will be truly missed.
Tonight, the search for a hit-and-run driver as one group warns about St. Louis's dangerous roads.
I feel like I'm at the Indiana 500.
We start tonight with the weather impact forecast. It's a warm night across St. Louis, but it's going to get even warmer over the next few days with extreme heat moving in. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Most of the St. Louis region will be under a heat advisory this week, so let's get right to meteorologist Gary Frank to see how hot it's going to get.
Yeah, I mean, it was 97 today, right? Now it's a matter of, well, why would we not have a heat advisory today? It's the humidity, and that's the main key factor for us. First and foremost, the heat alerts tomorrow. This is for Tuesday, so why is there just one day over the next couple? This may change first and foremost, but it has to do with the calculation of the humidity. That's the key factor for us. Today we're at 97, but our dew point was only around 64, so it felt like 99 at the worst, right? It was hot, don't get me wrong, but it's not as hot as it's going to feel tomorrow. With a high of forecast of 98, you have that more humidity started to settle in by Monday and Tuesday, and that's where it feels like it's between 100 and 107 and 108. So that's why we have the heat advisory for Tuesday, but still, Monday through Wednesday, weather impact alert days, the heat is going to get to you because of that higher humidity. It doesn't matter if there's a heat advisory or not. You need to hydrate and take breaks indoors. As we talk about the hour-by-hour forecast, we'll start out in the mid-70s. It's not going to start out at 82 like some of these really hot days that we have, but it will not take long for us to get in the low to mid-90s with not much in the way of cloud cover or any sort of wind to really add much of a breeze to us. We'll get hotter than that. I think we'll touch 100 degrees. There's an end in sight to that. We'll go more into that hour-by-hour, day-by-day, and when we can expect the heat to break.
All right, Gary, thanks. Tonight, police are looking for two drivers responsible for two separate hit-and-run crashes this weekend. A man was critically injured in North St. Louis early yesterday morning. Just hours earlier in Valley Park, a mother of 5 was killed. Tonight, 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski talked with a grieving family.
Family of Jaleesa Cannon says she was walking home Friday night from work at Dairy Queen when she was hit and killed by a car at Merrimack Station and Crescent Road in St. Louis County.
She was trying to get home to her 5 kids, just make a decent living and be a decent citizen. And for somebody to just take her life, hit her and keep going like that, I don't know how you can go to sleep at night.
Her cousin Natalie Dixon says everyone called her Lisa for short. She was funny, caring, and had a big heart.
I love her to death, and I know she loved me. So why your family here love them.
They released balloons in her honor Sunday night.
I love you with all of my heart.
St. Louis County Police say the driver who hit Lisa did not stay at the scene until help arrived, and they're still looking for them.
I'm calling detectives every day until I get an answer. Are there cameras on that corner? Did anybody see anything? I'm calling every day until I get an answer. This is not going to go unnoticed.
Hours later in St. Louis, Saturday morning, police say a man was hit crossing Natural Bridge near Belt Avenue by a white Hyundai SUV that also left the scene.
If I'm out at 4:30 in the morning, if I'm going to my job, doing whatever, I should be able to cross the street safely, to some degree, regardless of where I want to cross the street.
Crossing the road here at Natural Bridge and Belt Avenue already seems like a difficult task. Since we've been standing here for about 30 minutes, not once has the light changed or the walk sign turned on.
The street's way too wide, it is way too fast, and yet we have to wait for another year for this transportation and mobility plan when obviously what St. Louis County did, and if you drive here to St. Louis County, you'll see the improvements that they made around traffic calming, but you don't see it in the city.
Reporting in St. Louis, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
And if you know anything about either incident, you're asked to call police. There is a GoFundMe for Cannon's family. We have a link to that on KSDK.com if you'd like to donate. Tonight, Officer Travis Brown's family tells us he could wake up from a coma in the coming days. Doctors are slowly taking him off sedation. Brown has been in a medically induced coma ever since suffering a critical brain injury 2 weeks ago. Last night, law enforcement and members of the community held a fundraiser for Brown and his family. Hundreds came out to the Drink House in Pagedale for food, drinks, and a silent auction, all proceeds going to Brown's hospital bills.
General, just all around, I mean, you can see the outcome. Great dude, great father, very loving dude, always smiling, so, it's contagious when you see him.
A GoFundMe supporting Officer Brown has raised nearly $150,000, and you can find a link right now, also on KSDK.com. Tomorrow marks 3 years since a local Marine was killed in Afghanistan. Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz from Wentzville was one of 13 service members who died in a suicide bombing at the Kabul airport. Next month, the nonprofit group Freedom 13, founded by Schmitz's father, will honor those fallen troops with a memorial ride. A semi memorializing the 13 Angels of Abbey Gate will lead an 80-mile patriotic parade from Festus to Truesdale. Tomorrow, the Sangamon County Sheriff's deputy charged with killing Sonia Massey will be back in court. Sean Grayson's first pretrial hearing begins at 9 a.m. He faces first-degree murder and aggravated battery charges. Massey was shot and killed last month after calling police to her Springfield home. Grayson has pled not guilty to all charges. This week, some new state laws will take effect in Missouri. That includes changes to public schools. A package of education laws that passed include an increase in the minimum salary for teachers to $40,000 a year. It also changes how schools receive funding, making it based on enrollment instead of attendance. There are new laws based around public safety, such as a law that makes celebratory gunfire illegal and increasing the age minors can be tried as adults from 12 to 14. Another big change, anyone 62 years old and older will be eligible for the senior property tax freeze. Well, today the Jewish community came together for the St. Charles Jewish Festival. It's the region's only annual festival that celebrates Jewish life and culture. Thousands enjoyed music and kosher food all day. Organizers came up with a theme of Share the Love for this year's event, hoping to focus more on building relationships within and outside the community.
We often talk about fighting hate, but I think there's another way, and that's to really bring people together and to have those conversations and really begin to appreciate the other, and that's really what we're trying to do.
This year included an immersive Israeli shuk experience that refers to the open-air Israeli marketplace that attracts tourists from around the world. New tonight, a new and free resource to take away some of the taboos surrounding women's health issues like a hormone imbalance, aging bones, and pregnancy. 5 on Your Side's Andy Kroll was at the kickoff event, hearing why medical advice like this is so crucial for women of any age. Annie?
Mike, the first in this seminar series open to the public dealt with women's hormone levels. Medical experts say it can be a cycle of excruciating and isolating symptoms. Hoping women don't feel alone is one of the reasons the seminars were created.
From the time a girl hits puberty in her teens until she reaches perimenopausal in her 30s, 40s, or even 50s can be a roller coaster for a woman's hormone levels, according to Palm Health nurse practitioner Dr. Sarah Bird.
The symptoms show up as really painful periods that can be very disruptive to people's lives, heavy cycles, maybe not having a period or having infrequent periods, mood changes where they may have imbalances during a certain period of the month or maybe the whole month.
Bird says 1 in 10 women nationwide suffer from polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS, and it usually takes seeing 3 to 4 practitioners until they're accurately diagnosed. Hoping to learn more in Ladue, amongst the 50 women in attendance was 26-year-old Mackenzie Sharp, originally from rural southern Illinois, now a nanny and household manager in Clayton. Like many women, she first noticed painful symptoms in high school.
And I think dismissed them or, rub some dirt on it or whatever. And then, there comes to a point where there's so many symptoms that you're like, something doesn't feel right.
Which is why she's been working with Bird for the last month. Also learning about endometriosis during the August 23rd seminar, a condition where tissue similar to the uterine lining grows in other places in the body. It can grow, bleed, and can cause pain since it can't easily get out, affecting more than 11% of American women ages 15 to 44, according to the FDA. A multi-generational issue. Unsurprisingly, Bird recommends avoiding refined sugar and regular strength training to keep hormones in check. Not easy sometimes, especially with kids going back to school.
I always always tell women, yes, your kids are important and you need to focus on them, but you also have to take care of yourself. You have to eat well, you have to exercise, you have to do all the things that help you manage stress.
The next seminar is September 13th from 1 to 2 p.m. at Palm Health in Clayton. And considering endometriosis and PCOS are the two leading causes of infertility, on the 13th in Ladue, actually, medical experts will be navigating fertility problems, spotlighting oftentimes unanswered questions to help more hopeful parents find success. We'll have more information on the series at KSDK.com.
A family facing their darkest hour.
I didn't have hope. I was in a dark place.
Given a chance at a brighter tomorrow in a fight against a terrible disease.
I hope that it's around the corner.
Their new lifeline to hope in tonight's Making a Difference.
As we continue to look at our weather impact alert days, there's only one day that's actually a heat advisory right now. Why that is and how hot it's going to feel for that 24-hour period.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
1 week from tonight, we'll be live at Grant's Farm for our annual MDA Telethon. Tonight, why we do it. In our Making a Difference report, the story of a Missouri family and proof that hope isn't just a four-letter word.
In a town where time seems to slow down, one family's race against it is just beginning. Welcome to Augusta, Missouri, where neighbors know each other by name and life moves at a leisurely pace.
It really is about 100 people that they like to take care of each other.
Yeah, you got it.
For the Zoll family, that sense of community became a lifeline when their 3-year-old son Rory was born.
Good job. I think you're getting faster at this puzzle.
Rory is a character. He is smart, he's funny, he's intuitive. Is it a green giraffe? A Bronchiosaurus.
But behind Rory's infectious personality lies a diagnosis that rewrote their family story.
We were just waiting to hear boy or girl, and then we heard that it was a boy, but then you could tell that her tone changed and she got a little bit more serious.
The Zolls were confronted with some unfamiliar, scary words. Duchenne muscular dystrophy, a progressive genetic disorder that causes muscles to weaken over time. After that diagnosis, fear cast a long shadow.
It was just we were going to live in misery, just that all the things you see, that was going to happen right away. And I didn't have hope. So I was in a dark place.
But in their darkest hour, the Zolls discovered they were not alone. The Muscular Dystrophy Association stepped in, offering a beacon of support and optimism.
They were like, other families are like yours, and that is how we were able to join groups and reach out to other families going through what we were going through. They connect to this one.
Now, with MDA's help, Rory is part of a clinical trial.
Cool. That's a big, long train.
That could rewrite the future for children with Duchenne.
Yeah, you pick it up. When I think about the future now, I see Rory doing all the things we had dreamed for him to do.
I can see the cure in my lifetime. I can really see, and I hope that it's around the corner.
In Augusta, where time seems to stand still.
Bye, Dad. It is on his way.
The Zolls race forward now with newfound optimism.
Rory, Rory, Rory.
Reminding us that in a world that often rushes by, true progress is measured not in leaps and bounds, but in hope and the celebration of every small step.
The MDA has meant everything to us.
And Rory and his family will join us live at Grant's Farm 1 week from tonight. Ann Allred, Rennie Knott, and Scott Connell will be there as my co-hosts once again in prime time from 8 to 10 p.m. as we try to help Rory and so many kids just like him. I hope you'll join us too for our MDA Telethon next Sunday night. Thousands came out today for the last day of the Festival of Nations. Close to 100 different cultures were showcased in Tower Grove Park. Vendors sold clothes, bracelets, food, and more from their home countries. The festival comes as St. Louis is seeing a record number of immigrants and refugees coming to the city.
It's really special to be able to be out here in fellowship with so many different countries and to see all of the people that are just curious about learning about so many different cultures.
The International Institute has been running this festival since 2001. However, the city has hosted similar multicultural events every year since 1934. Meteorologist Gary Frank rejoins us now with that weather impact forecast, and it's going to get hot, hot, hot.
It is, and it was 97 today, right? There's levels of heat. We talk about that so often. We haven't talked about it for a while. It was in the 40s and 50s for a brief moment, but when it's still 87 and almost 11 o'clock because of a really long preseason football game, you know, it's August, right? We haven't had to talk about that in a while. Our dew point at 61 degrees with a south-southeast breeze. There's that 97. It was 10 degrees above normal. So we're starting off at 76. You look at not much cloud cover, not much going on, and all these storms kind of going over the edge of things here. That has to do with this ridge of high pressure that's settled in, and everything that you're looking at, minus this one severe thunderstorm warning, has to do with either a heat advisory, excessive heat warning, excessive heat watch, and there's the heat advisory that we're in. And it all has to do with this core of high pressure that's going to be not only, it's pretty much right here, but it's gradually working its way off to the east. And as it does so, our temps go up, and it's going to drag more humidity with it as well. And that's the reason for not only our weather impact alert days, but the fact that we have to deal with heat advisories and those heat headlines, because this was a hot day. Don't get me wrong. When overnight, it's not so bad. But as we start to see our dew points, you'll see them in the mid-60s now, like I just showed you. They're going to start to go into the 70s, and those local areas are even higher in some cases, corn sweat, things of that nature. But you'll notice it comes down Wednesday. So I think that's kind of the nominal differences between a heat advisory day. Regardless, they're weather impact alert days for us, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're impacted by the heat because the extreme heat will be with us. It's very humid at times. And obviously what you're expecting is a heat index between 100 and 107, and heat-related illnesses go up, especially when we go back to school and at recess, and just being prepared to go inside and take those breaks. Because when you look tomorrow, our areas that are Pike County, areas up to the northwest, central Missouri, under that heat advisory, their heat index readings are much higher than maybe a Perryville or Nashville or Salem, Illinois. But look at everywhere on Tuesday. That's the day for the heat advisory, because it will feel like it's 105 to 107. Wednesday, it may be hotter air temperature-wise, but it may not be quite as humid. I think this is negligible. We may see that heat advisory added for Wednesday as well. Regardless, it gets better on Thursday. Despite looking at this, I think our temperatures are still probably hot. It's just not as humid. Prepare for the first 3 days, our weather impact alert days. They're near 100, 98, 99, and 100. And even as we go down on Thursday, I don't think it's quite as humid. So that's an improvement as we start to see chances of rain fade in by Thursday into Friday, and maybe a closer to normal weekend.
It's time for On the Move. I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy from Today in St. Louis. Welcome back to school. Kids dread it, but parents are dreading the traffic. I asked 5 on Your Side viewers to tell me which roads can be especially clogged up during this time of year. One of those, Telegraph Road in the Oakville and Melville School District. It came up quite a bit, along with Yeager Road as well. School buses usually enter school along this road. You hit this spot at the wrong time and you'll be stuck. If you live or work in the area, school time awareness is crucial. Leave early and give yourself plenty of time. Lindbergh also makes the list. It doesn't matter if your kids go to school in North County or even South County, Lindbergh can be a problem, specifically the Halls Ferry Circle, all the way to Lindbergh near McClure North High School, and then Howdershell, just west of Lindbergh by Hazelwood West High School. And then there's Clarkson by Marquette High School in West County. Buses actually are forced to line up on Clarkson sometimes, waiting to drop off kids at school. It can be a traffic mess, and best to avoid it if possible. The extra traffic is a problem for parents, but also for people who work near those schools. My advice, have your patience on your drive and stay safe out there. Paul Cook, 5 on Your Side.
The conflict in the Middle East escalates. An early morning attack sending hundreds of rockets flying. Tonight, U.S. leaders weigh in on if peace is possible. Tonight, the conflict in the Middle East escalates. Iran and their backed military group Hezbollah and Israel both launching massive missile attacks at each other. Hezbollah says it fired more than 300 rockets at the country. However, Israel's prime minister says the military destroyed thousands of their rockets. Israel has been preparing for retaliation from the group ever since they took credit for assassinating one of Hezbollah's leaders. U.S. officials aided Israel in tracking some of the attacks as leaders on both sides of the aisle pay close attention to the conflict.
I am deeply concerned about the violence and chaos spreading throughout the region. This just underscores the emergency. We need to put an end to this war. We need to stop all the bombing, get the hostages back home.
If I were the state of Israel, I would tell the Ayatollah, if these people do not come home alive, the ones that are left alive, and if we don't get the bodies of the fallen, we're going to blow up your oil refineries. That's the only way you're ever going to get the hostages released, is to put pressure on Iran.
Hamas and Israel restarted ceasefire talks earlier today in Cairo. Neither side has yet to agree to a compromise. Relief in Hawaii tonight, which narrowly missed a direct hit from Hurricane Hone. Right now, Hawaii is still in a state of emergency. However, the National Weather Service has dropped red flag alerts. The islands were still slammed by more than a foot of rain, causing highways to flood and thousands to lose power. Hello, Dolly. Dolly Parton's latest collaboration bringing more than her music to the Show Me State. Country music legend Dolly Parton coming to Kansas City on Tuesday, celebrating her Imagination Library. The library distributes free books to children under 5 years old. More than 130,000 Missouri kids have enrolled in the program. The event will feature a conversation with Parton, a speech from Governor Mike Parson, and a brief performance. Again, tomorrow is a weather impact alert day. Gary has one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, very hot conditions expected as we're near 100 degrees. Maybe not the added humidity quite as bad as I think Tuesday. That's probably the most humid day. We're 99, feels like 107 at times. We'll hit 100 and then we're on the downside with less humidity gradually into that Labor Day weekend holiday where it's a little less humid and hot.
And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10, a late edition. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m., goes till 7. Now here's Corey Miller with Sports Plus.